Well, when we moved here and we learned about what's happening with the mine, actually we started hearing that there was clear cut being done there, and we could hear it from our porch, and that was very distressing. And we lost a lot of nights of sleep thinking about it and how it was so nightmarish. So we decided to just start a website to spread the information, the little information that we had. And Tom started a change.org petition, and overnight we got about 1,000 or 2,000 signatures. And from then it started spreading through the internet. We also started like an Instagram, and just sharing information here and there, asking for people to help us spread that information. And with the months, it started picking up, and with reels, all of this got a lot of views and attention. And yeah, it grew organically in this way, just because of people learning that this was a project that could happen and they didn't want that. So yeah.
And was the support you were gathering like all over the place, or is there a lot of local support? Is there any local support for the mine? Is it offering jobs or other things that is there controversy about it, or does everybody actually think it's a bad idea?
Yeah, it's quite controversial. Before our campaign, there was no information readily available, and so a lot of folks in this area who had previously supported it had never even seen a map of how close it was to the state park, how close it was to the lake. So all we did was take the company's own documents and just put them on the internet for folks to see. And so right now, there are certainly a handful of people in the area who support the mine because it will create jobs in the short term. What
Right.
we're trying to do is show them that, mining in the long term actually degrades the economy, which is why heavily mined areas like the UP or West Virginia, we don't think of these places as wealthy areas because mining hasn't really been good for the long-term health of the economy. So, and the waste pile will last forever. The contamination has long-term effects. So we're trying to encourage people to move beyond short-term thinking. But there are loads of local folks who are opposed to the project. We hold meetings in the area. We just had a meeting last week where we held a gathering for folks to write letters and postcards to the Export-Import Bank of the United States, which is a federal agency that is considering giving this project $250 million. So, that's a lot of money. It would really advance the project, make it much more a real nightmare than the copper pipe dream than it is right now. So anyone who's listening, we're asking folks from all around the country and all around the world to write physical letters to the Export-Import Bank of the United States. You can go to protecttheporkies.com and click Take Action. And that's where you'll find all the ways you can participate in the campaign.
Okay. We'll
But
put that in the show notes as well.
great. But that's a way that, anybody who's listening to this today and feels like they want to do something, but they don't live in the area, you can write a letter. This is the federal government we're talking about. And, normally a campaign like this, you might just do a mass email flooding of the decision maker. But so many folks are desensitized to emailing, and especially when you get hundreds in your inbox, it's just kind of annoying, and you can delete them all in a couple button clicks. So we think actually getting physical mail on somebody's desk, it seems old fashioned, but now it's actually quite novel. It makes a big impact, especially if you get a big duffel bag full of letters from people telling you don't destroy that area.
We have about 100 postcards that we're gonna send to this bank, and it takes like it's a big pile of postcards. Only 100, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But that was just from one gathering. So people
Yeah.
around the country now, they're making their own gatherings. They're getting together with family and friends.
That's great. And I have also always heard that the best way to communicate with either a personal phone call, to communicate with your legislators, a personal phone call is good, but a handwritten letter is golden. It's annoying. It's like I can barely write anymore, but that's what everyone says. I think it's probably true. You've had some success in stepping back a minute from the current campaign about the bank and at the federal level. Let's start with, because you've had some success at the state level, right?
Yeah. Michigan was going to almost certainly give the project $50 million. And normally that kind of proposal might fly under the radar. This is a remote area where not a lot of people live. So, we started telling Michiganders about this proposal. That's when the campaign really picked up steam, when people realized that their own taxpayer dollars could be used to help a Canadian mining company, you know, devastate a beautiful area. Nothing wrong with being from Canada, by the way, but we're talking about an extractive company that's
Of
coming in
course.
to
Of
destroy an
course.
area. Um, so that was when the campaign really picked up a lot of momentum, and people started calling and writing to their lawmakers. We led some in-person visits to the Capitol. We held a 200-person protest around the Capitol there in Lansing, Michigan. And we actually went inside the building and chanted at the lawmakers around the rotunda. And they denied that funding to the mining company. They came back the next year and reintroduced it again, and they realized it didn't look good giving taxpayer dollars to the mining company. So they rewrote it to say this money will go to the local township, but it will be used to advance the mine. And we saw through that very quickly. Everybody else saw through it. So we've actually defeated this $50 million proposal 3 times now.
Wow.
And we have a number of allies among lawmakers in Michigan's capital who don't want to see this advance.
This has really become your life, hasn't it? All encompassing. You wrote a little change.org petition and changed
now
it's
lives
now.
a lot.
We came here to live off grid to work in our artistic project, and suddenly we're fighting a mine.
You have, I just want to say that, Tom, you have the most beautiful rainbow like reflection on your head right now.
Yeah.
Like it's happy Pride. Okay.
I didn't know what you were going to say, and I was trying to figure it out, and I thought you'd probably say voice. You do have a
voice. I
great
was
voice,
going
Tom.
to I was going to say that your voice is like vegan butter.
Well, thank you.
All right. So I assume that you were up against like high-priced lobbyists. You sort of alluded to that a bit. So how do you make yourselves heard over the sound of all that money?
Through passion, showing up in person, and then having all these people who will share their own personal stories of why this place matters to them.
Yeah. If you don't have access to the microphone that lobbyists have, we just need more people. So you need thousands of people. You need tens of thousands of people to make it clear that, this is something that we, the people, are not going to tolerate. And so we've made that clear to Michigan's lawmakers. Now we're trying to make it clear to some folks in the federal government. And yeah, I mean, the internet has been an incredible tool just in getting people informed and connected and inspired. I don't think when the internet was invented, it was really intended to connect and, inspire people as much as it did. It's kind of, the internet maybe oppresses us in a lot of ways with a lot of the junk that comes out of it, but it's also an incredible tool for connecting us.
I totally agree. Like, we all hate the internet now, and with good reason, and it does a lot of harm in a lot of ways. But if you're trying to do any kind of campaigning or information, I mean, and if you were alive before, in the before times, the difference is unbelievable. I mean, the ability to reach people. I also get the sense, and my sister used to live in Detroit, or right outside of Detroit. She was not a Michigander. I mean, she was there for a short while because of a job. But anyway, I got the feeling that Michiganders really love Michigan. Is that like they go on vacation, like to Michigan, and do you think there's a special sense in Michigan about loyalty that you were able to tap into?
Yeah, very much so. Michiganders are for sure very proud of our state, of our water, of some of the wild places that exist here. And the Porcupine Mountains also hold a special role in the hearts of Michiganders because it's our largest state park. It's our largest old growth forest. It's our largest designated wilderness area. It was set aside. People had to fight to see this area saved from logging companies back in the early 20th century. So, the fact that past generations fought to see this area protected, and now there's new proposals to destroy it, I think it's inspired a lot of people to try to carry that torch from past generations and fight to keep this area protected.